There's a ledge.
Don't stand on the rock. Alright, I gotta go swim.
Work's done.
2K. I'm back, following up on that last YouTube video. Sorry for the long delay. Been a pretty crazy last 4 or 5 weeks, but when we left off, I was just training, building up for Ironman Mallorca. And as most of you probably know, that race already happened. So the last training went great. A little bit of hiccups happened in the travel. I kind of, had a bit of a flight issue with my name spelled wrong, had to rebook, pay again, and the last few days were a bit stressful, but Nick showed up to my place there in Guelph, and we went over to Spain together, so that was nice to have him and travel together, and nothing really went too wrong after that. I had a bit of a minor bolt issue with the bike that was my own fault, but we got it fixed in time for the race, and then it was just kind of get adjusted and see if we can get adjusted to the time zone and have a good day. It was only about a 4-day time that we had to adjust, so that was a little bit tight for a 6-hour time change, but race morning I actually felt pretty good, and I was ready to do my first Ironman, and it was a wetsuit swim, a little bit different than I would have probably liked because the water was pretty warm. I think they kind of fudged the numbers a little bit there on the temperature, but stayed with that second group on the swim. Didn't really have too many issues. Kind of felt a little harder than I was hoping, considering I knew I'd be out there for over 8 hours, but stayed in that group no problem and just kind of got through the swim. I think we swam like 49 minutes or something like that, and then got out on the bike and really was disciplined. I knew that you guys are going to go out really, really hard, and I tried to stay. Nick and I both, we stayed with the group. We didn't ride too hard until the base of that hill, which was about 20 minutes. Then we had a 30-minute long climb and went pretty strong there. I was one of the first in our group over the top. I knew I needed to do that in order to have a chance to stay with that group, because on the descent, those guys are just really technically skilled, and I knew that they were gonna probably put a few minutes potentially into me. So that 30-minute climb, I actually, something around 335 watts for me, which is like a pretty high percentage of FTP. So that was a very solid effort. So got over the top there, and I was right at the front of that group, and then like I thought, guys were going by me through the switchback sections. Actually, even though I was really careful, it was still, I wish I'd been able to ride the descent. So that was one thing I'll do next time if I have a technical course. I did drive it, but I wasn't able to ride the descent before the race. So got through the descent. I was kind of at the very back of that group now of 20-ish, almost 20 guys, and then we were into 2 groups. Came back together, and then the rest of the bike was just kind of trying to conserve. Felt really good until like 100K, and then started feeling not so good, and then at 130 or so it was like really tough to get through that. Made it through to the end without any crazy blow-ups, but definitely the power was dropping way down, and I was just surviving that last hour or so. But got onto the run, actually felt pretty good. My nutrition plan had gone well. I had all my, on the bike, I had a whole bunch of First Endurance gels and liquid shot and the sport drink as well. So that, the EFS Pro, those are the 2 sport drinks. And then I felt pretty good on the run. I just kind of tried to go out easy, and then I started, guys were kind of taking off ahead of me. I started feeling really good at around 6K, and I ran pretty well for 6 to about 15 or 20K, and I think I felt a little too good because I definitely went a little too fast, and then struggled a little bit from like 20 to 35K, but kept it together, never really had any crash and burns, and I was kind of back and forth with a few guys. That's something that was really unique, was actually passing guys, then they would pass me, and then I would pass them, they would pass me, and that never happens in a 70.3. Just energy levels are so up and down in an Ironman, and it's a totally different day. But yeah, I kind of started feeling good again the last few K of the run. Unfortunately, I was kind of not near anyone I could catch, and I ended up coming in through in 13th. Okay day, nothing crazy. I didn't have really great energy levels throughout the last half of the race, but I think that's just experience and time preparing. I only had about 2.5 weeks to train specifically for that race, and it was a really cool experience to do that and not blow up and finish strong on the run. That was a big positive for me. I ended up running about 2:56, which is okay. I know I'm gonna need to run a lot faster than that, but didn't blow up and didn't go way over 3 hours like could have easily happened. So super happy with that. Nick was having a pretty good day too. Unfortunately, he kind of hit the wall and he actually ended up passing out. Luckily, there was people around and he ended up all right, but wasn't able to finish. But yeah, that was a really fun trip, and I was even more excited to just finish up that race and move on to the next things, which is going on to the off season and getting married. So this wouldn't be a professional triathlete's YouTube channel if I didn't talk about coffee at least a little bit. Off season for me is also the cough season, because I don't have coffee during the season much at all, because I try to keep the caffeine down just so my arrhythmia doesn't act up. But when I'm not training much, I can have a few cups of coffee here and there. So that's a big reason for extending the off season for me. But yeah, so I did the race in Spain. Right after the race, I was a bit disappointed, but then looking back at it later, it was actually not a bad performance. So went back, and then Montana and I got married. We got some pictures from that we can put in here, but we didn't get too much in terms of that yet. But it was an awesome day, and then we went straight to our honeymoon, and that's where I did a lot more relaxing. Obviously, I did no training after the race before the wedding, and then I did no training for another week in the Galapagos. We went on some boat tours, saw a lot of different animals. There's a lot of reefs there. We went swimming with the fish and snorkeling, and I actually preferred to just put my regular Blue 70 goggles on and dive down, because those big goggles are just like way too limiting. But saw some really cool stuff. Did a good mix of relaxing and kind of adventuring, exploring. I mean, it's great to imagine in the off season I just sit around and do nothing, but realistically after like 2 days of that, I start to get a little antsy and have to do some stuff. Today I'm going for a little bit of a ride. Part way across the island, maybe all the way across. It's 25K across. We got to go over a mountain, so we'll see how much I do, but nice day to bike. And got these rental mountain bikes, $3 an hour, so that'll do the job. It's steep, and I'm pretty out of shape, so this is a little tougher than I thought. Made it to Puerto Chino Beach, 650 meters that way. Don't think I'm actually gonna go though, because I gotta get back. It's been an hour and 19 minutes, and I got another big climb and descent to do to get back. But I'll come back maybe Friday and actually do some surfing or something. know it's not a very busy road when the dogs lie right in the middle of it. Much steeper climb on the way back, but better view too. .224 for 50.6K with, I think, 1,300 meters of elevation gain and loss. 1272, so legs are pretty toast. So that was actually a decent little ride, and now I'm gonna be lazy the rest of the day. But yeah, 2 weeks I did absolutely no training, and then did a couple swims, bikes, and runs, all pretty easy. And once I'm getting back into things, I'm still trying to keep my focus in the off season towards other things. So I'm not really setting a strict, wake up and train at this time. It's more kind of sleep in, do things, do other things, do social things, and then fit training in where and when I feel like it. So usually that's no more than a few hours a day maximum of training, but the main thing is just that I'm not really stressed about the exact specifics of the training. It's more get the mileage in, do a few pickups, do a little bit of efforts if I feel like it, but mostly all easy. The one thing I will say though is as I'm getting back into it now, so I did 2 weeks nothing, 1 week really easy, 1 week quite easy again, but getting a little bit more distance up, around 12 hours. Now my main focus is making sure that my swim consistency comes back first. So trying to swim at least 5 times a week now, and I'll probably do 6 for most from now to the season, and build up the swim frequency first, and then I'll kind of build the other ones up after. So I'm kind of only running 3 or 4 times a week and biking 2 or 3 times a week now, but those will pick up a little bit later on, maybe in December or January. But yeah, I'm focused mostly on form in the swim, doing lots of pull, trying to work on that rotation without kicking too much. And for me, engaging my lats is a huge part of being able to produce power in swimming, and that's something I hadn't really focused on until the last year or so, and I've seen big improvements, so I'm going to continue to focus on that. And yeah, eventually get up and do a big swim phase, hopefully this January through February, getting up to like 25K, but for now I'd like to try to get 15, so that's the first goal. And yeah, I started that in the Galapagos, did all kinds of fun exploring, and then got back 10 days pretty relaxed at home, but got back into training, felt like I was organized, planning for 2022. One of the videos coming up soon is going to be 2022 season plans. And then we came back here to Mexico, so now just kind of hanging out for a few more days, doing some easy open water swims, runs. I did one bike on the stationary bike, but that thing kind of sucks, so it's hard to do too much there. But definitely been nice to extend this off season and just not rush back into training too much. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you want to see on YouTube. We're just kind of starting here and getting consistent. So, and also check out the RTS YouTube, because Nick's been putting together some awesome videos there, and you'll probably get to see me lazing around here in Mexico, a couple drinks.